Hey guys, and welcome back to the Valorant macro series. Today, I want to talk about tempo and pacing. Tempo decides whether your team feels smooth and unpredictable, or slow and readable, or sometimes fast and shitty. In this video, we'll break down what tempo is, why it wins and loses rounds, and how to actually use it in your own games. Alright, let's start with a quick definition. What actually is tempo? Well, tempo is how quickly and aggressively a team is taking space. You can think of it as a scale with slow and safe play on one end and fast and risky play on the other. Risk factors are things like smokes, ults, or losing a teammate, anything that makes continuing to push more, well, risky. These things naturally cause teams to change tempo. In order to better illustrate the difference between these two things being fast and risky and slow and careful play, I want to take a look at 2 rounds from the Sentinels versus GenG game at Masters Madrid. First, I'll play the round, then we'll go over it together.
Showers at the start of the round of B long. Quite different from the last time they played against Heretics.
Certainly does. It's time to be split. Waiting out the molly, and Texture's just not scared at all. Look at this guy, wide facing. Not worried at all with the wall was down. Plenty of angles left and waiting. Flash through there, getting the acknowledgement. Tens, what is the call to be made? They are really just out wide and open. If this wall goes down, they should know the timing for it, but it's going down. Flash through and out there it is. Meteor falls, deleted. Lakia!
How's he done that?
Away, I'm not too sure. Jumping up and hopping up. That was a trailblazer kill that I just saw filling up the feed, but the spike dropped down. Texture will seek to reclaim this one, and all this action has happened with still a minute left on the clock.
What is Munchkin's call here? GonZealous is still waiting over by Showers, expecting them to use that teleport, because Sentinels have lost B long control. Love the play from Sassy and Tens, going for a fake B long re-clear and then a real one afterwards with the wingman. But it still left things in an even scenario. This is still looking like they could take the teleporter, but Munchkin's getting into more and more of a committed position.
30 seconds
Slowly
left.
now assuming correct positions, like they want to try and exec themselves into this site. Here it is. Munchkin has a snake fight, will send it flying. That's just to block off that CT exit and entrance. Still the face, and the fight is called. Munchkin, a lot more left to do now here with only a few seconds left. Removes the Seeker, was pesky in his face, a bit of a problem, but again, time against him. And with the spike in the middle of nowhere,
No time.
clear wing cons, acknowledged there. GonZealous, yeah, he runs his way out.
Very well handled from Sentinels in this round, and Sassy.
This round starts with GenG slowly taking the B long and hookah space while Munchkin holds A short. After the B players get to Garden and hookah, they stop as soon as John Cutie puts up his Viper wall. Here we can actually pretty easily identify GenG's tempo. They started with a semi-fast tempo, taking space in both B long and hookah. Once John's toxin goes up, they slow down the pace and just wait for the wall to go back down. In general, smokes, like the Viper wall in this case, will slow down the tempo of a round. Viper's smokes especially due to the decay. I would probably say the tempo of this round for GenG is a 3 or 4 on the scale, considering that they aren't really taking risky fights. It's all about just slow, careful space creation. For Sentinels on the other hand, notice how the moment that GenG slows down, they decide to speed up and re-clear space. This is really a key part of mid-rounding. When the tempo changes, try to figure out why it's changing. This could mean that you need to re-clear space or maybe just back up and play passive. But regardless, make sure that you're reacting to changes in tempo instead of just going full steam ahead all the time or just sitting back and holding angles the whole round. In this case, Sen re-clear B long. After this fight, GenG again slows down. Sentinels don't really need to force anything anymore though, since ultimately GenG need a plan, so they have time advantage. This lets Sen play extremely passive and just wait for GenG to walk into them.
Show his dominance on the entry, coming straight down mid.
No direct hit.
He got rocked.
Straight to the back wall. Yep, it's second. Comes out on top in that one here. Nade will get sent flying. Players seeking to try and plug up that gap as well. You can see them. GenG Gonna swarm that position. Mosh Pit does relieve that pressure, but okay, Meteor still alive and has dropped him down. Now the showstopper. Earned up and a bound. Zekken eventually claiming the kill, just using a gun this time. Here it is into the site. It's Meteor. He splits it up.
He's distracting. He's pulling 3 players over towards A. Munchkin, though, instead of rotating, decides to reinforce his player, who's in a deep position. But this crossfire looks impossible to break.
How do you break it? You just can't, surely.
Well, they're worried about a B lurk, so this might break it themselves.
No way. And
They don't swing.
The trade's late, the swing's late. Meteor, he's gone for seconds, you greedy, greedy boy. But spam down at a triple point, and now there's the call. Finally, a TP by Munchkin. Gives the indicator again, but Sentinels left worried. They've made the right read onto this one.
They have. If they double swing at the same time, they're going to be able to catch Meteor. Do they predict it?
Discipline, the diligence. Meteor can't land his shot. Still 30 seconds left, and again, it's a wrap around, the ring around the roses, straight through the TP. Munchkin, though, will be met or placed. It's going to be blocking them off, at least from being able to flood themselves back into it, but he actually didn't activate the orb.
And he didn't throw the snake bite either.
Bit of a misplay potentially, but now finally out into the open. A few bullets to pay for the price of that one, still alive.
Sen was so worried that Munchkin was fake tapping there that they didn't even get into backside in time. So now Munchkin's snakebite with the orb completely locks them off. They are worried, where could Munchkin be right now?
There's that misinformation strewn into the round. Now Munchkin has a snakebite. Can play it as the first point here. Sassy just sticking, holding with faith in his teammate right behind him, and you can feel it all the way through. Paranoia settling in.
In round 8, GenG are executing instantly down 8 short. Here, despite losing a player and getting hit with multiple pieces of utility, GenG just continue to fight for the A space. I would say that this round starts at a tempo of 8 or higher. Pretty much regardless of what Sentinels threw at them, GenG was going to try to go A in that early part of the round. That being said, GenG do change the tempo of the round to be more slow once they get in a 2v3, giving Meteor a chance to try and make something happen to even out those numbers. In this case, since Sentinels have the man advantage, they do not call to take extra space. Just like the last round we looked at, they just sit deep and wait for GenG to walk into them. So these rounds are great to show what tempo is and how it changes the flow of play, but why does it matter in the first place? Well, really, tempo is important for 2 simple reasons. 1, creating and breaking expectations, and 2, controlling information and reactions. Firstly, creating and breaking expectations. Even if you've never played organized Valorant before, you've probably experienced this in ranked. If the other team is just slamming sites every round, you probably aren't keeping 2 people anchored on site. Instead, you'll just rotate as soon as there's contact. That is you playing around the opposing team's tempo. If the opponents then decide to, say, fake A and go B, there would be no one, or maybe just one guy B. This would be them cashing in on their tempo conditioning. Now let's talk about controlling information and reactions. Why is it that you rotate quickly when the opponent is playing fast anyway? Well, usually it's for one of 3 reasons. You want to be on site when they hit, you want to be ready to retake when they tap the bomb, and you have no information telling you it's your site, but a shit ton of information telling you it's not. This creates 2 different effects on the defending team. Firstly, the attackers have conditioned you into rotating off of early info, aka react rotating, making it easier for them to run a fake, but they have also made it harder to find out if they're faking in the first place. If someone stayed behind and droned, they would be missing the timing to leave in order to be on site when the attackers execute, or retake when they tap the bomb. So how can you use tempo in your own games? Well, really it depends on your role. If you're the IGL, try implementing this framework into your mid-rounds. When either you or the opponent changes tempo, call something. This could be a reclear, a retake, etc. A great example of this is actually from a round we showed earlier. GenG slowed down after taking hookah and long, and Sassy and Tens immediately go to reclear B long. If you're a duelist or initiator, you should probably be the people calling tempo changes alongside the IGL. These 2 roles tend to have the most information about what's happening on site, so they're also the best suited to call these changes. An example of this might be if a duelist gets a pick on sight, call to speed up, or if a dart scans 3 people, call to slow down and take space somewhere else. If you're a Sentinel player, try letting your team know if you're playing retake or playing to hold. You can also use your utility like a Cypher Cam or KJ Turret to find the tempo of the other team. Really just try and stay vocal on this role. If you're playing smokes, then just like in the Sen versus GenG match, you can use your smokes to find and or change the tempo of the opponent. Some examples of this might be throwing a smoke as soon as the round starts to create a shotgun threat, throwing one ways to slow them down, throwing lurk smokes to create threats, and one example of this is the GenG Viper Wall on Bind, or even just throwing sight smokes to help your team survive longer. So to recap, tempo is how fast and aggressive your team plays. Risk factors like smokes, ults, and utility shift that tempo. Understanding and mastering tempo and tempo shifts allows you to control the flow of the game and dictate the way your opponents play the map. Alright, thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps someone. For my next video, I plan on talking about team play and communication, so definitely subscribe or you'll get no-comm teammates in your next 10 ranked games. Bye.